Are you somebody that's considering homeschooling, but you have to, or maybe you choose to continue to work because you just love your job so much? Maybe you've already been homeschooling and working, and you're having a hard time balancing the two and making sure that your home doesn't fall apart. Well, in this video, I am going to share 7 tips on how in the last 6 years I have worked and homeschooled my 3 sons and done just that. Hi, my name is Melissa and this is Strutgirl Homeschool, where our home is our runway. I am so glad that you tuned in today to my channel. It has been a long time priority of mine to make sure that I have been prioritizing my home, and that I am prioritizing my home regardless of whatever I have going on outside of my home, and that being work. I do want to be real with you guys and honest and let you know that yes, there is a commitment. It is hard, and there are going to be some hard days doing both. But I want to also encourage you and let you know that you can do it, that you've been created to do it, and that you will be able to do it, and that it will work out. There are so many resources that I'm going to share with you in this video, and there's just so many options available that if it's something that you want to do, that you can do it. And I just want to encourage you with that. You've been teaching your kids since they've been alive everything that they know outside of book work, walking, talking, tying their shoes. You've been there, so you can do this. So without further ado, I'm going to share with you 7 tips on how I have been able to work in homeschool, and hopefully they can be helpful. My first tip is to school on the go. If you're any kind of mom, whether you're working outside of the home or you're not, I'm pretty sure that you're driving around sometimes, running errands, going to grandma's house, whatever the case may be. When you're in your car, that is valuable time to school on the go. My mother lives about an hour away, so from there and back, my kids and I would often school on the go. They would have their clipboards with their handouts and assignments that they can work on independently. Maybe I would have a recording going that's testing them on their spelling words, or they would test each other. There's so many ways that you can school on the go. They would bring their workbooks, maybe their math sheets, and they could work on that when they're working in the car. If you have younger kids, my kids are older. I have a 16, 12, and 10-year-old. But when they were a little bit younger, I would have my kids have like an aluminum pen, and they would have little letters that maybe they would play around with those letters and try to make words. And you call out the word, call out a 3-letter word, and have them write it out on their aluminum pen. And maybe a sibling could be next to them and let you know if they did it correctly or not. But in any case, the act of them practicing it and doing it would be a good and efficient lesson on spelling that day. That maybe could be school for while you're running your errands that particular day. Okay, so my second tip is to use audiobooks. So Audible is an app that I'm pretty sure you've probably heard of. If you haven't, I will put a link in my description box. So if the information is valuable that you're hearing in this video, please consider using my link to try it out. What we did while we were on the road, and like I said, this kind of goes back to my first tip. When you're driving around, it's valuable time. So another thing that I did when we rode around in the car is we would listen to audiobooks. And one of the first books that we devoured was The Chronicles of Narnia. And even to this day, we still have great memories of us listening to The Chronicles of Narnia on the road, on the way to wherever, and the rain is pouring down. And so not only do they get to memorize, but you can also listen to memory work. So our co-op is Classical Conversations, And every week we learn new facts about 7 different subjects, which we call strands. And so I would play recordings of the songs that we use to help us memorize those subjects, those facts. And we would just listen to them on the way to wherever. And those memories are etched into our brain of, the times that it was storming or it was raining and we were just singing those songs in our car. So it's, again, a valuable time in the car to use to listen to audiobooks or to practice your memory work, chant songs. If you do hymns like we do, that would be a great time to, put in your hymn time. Maybe you're on the way somewhere where you can pick it up and continue with Bible study. My 4th tip is to diversify which subjects you will have that will be primarily teacher-led versus ones that will be more student-led. So what I mean by that is, if you, how I started out with homeschooling, we use cyberschooling. I can't think of the name, Connections Academy. There we go. So we use Connections Academy when we first started out, and those kind of programs are typically a public school teacher who teaches from online, and they primarily lead and teach the whole lesson for every subject, and then you help to guide them and manage them at home, typically in the same manner that you would do if your child went to public school away in a brick and mortar school. However, in homeschool, you can kind of do the same thing, but you get to pick and choose which subjects you want to do that for. So, for instance, typing is something that I know how to do, but I'm not going to spend, so you want to assess how much time you have as a working homeschooling mom, right? So if I know that I have 4 hours in a day, then I'm going to limit which subjects I would lead and teach myself. So typing, although it's something that I can do and that I would be able to teach my children, I remember how to hold your hands and all those things, it would be a lot easier for me to just have them in some kind of program, and there's so many free programs that they can learn that on. So that wouldn't be something that I would focus on being teacher-led. For math, my kids, as they have gotten older, I have a 16, I think I mentioned, I have a 16, a 12, and a 10-year-old. And so I have a soon-to-be 8th grader and a soon-to-be 11th grader. And so they primarily do math on their own. And even my youngest is mainly starting to do math on his own. So I will go through the mental math questions. They use Saxon math, They use Saxon math, and so I verbally go through the mental math portion with them and make sure that they did the drills for their lesson. And then they read the lesson themselves and do the actual assignment. They show me that it's done, and when I check that it's complete, they go and get their answer key and they can check and make sure that it's actually correct. For our house, when it is complete when it's an A. So that is something that they would primarily lead on their own. Now, when it comes to Bible study, history, science, fine arts like music and art, we enjoy studying those things together and fleshing out discussions and getting to hear what each other's opinions or the things that we're thinking, and so it's important to me and my husband for us to lead those kind of discussions, because then we can ask critical questions to flesh out their understanding of that particular topic. And as I said, we use classical conversations for our history and all of those core facts within the week. So they memorize a sentence for that particular subject. And so we will often flesh out that fact with several different books and read alouds at home. And my oldest is, like I said, going into 11th grade. And so that's called Challenge 3 if you're in classical conversations. And so they have their own separate types of books that they read. So sometimes we'll read those together as a family. And that helps us again to have a baseline understanding of where all of my kids are in terms of these topical discussions that are not so mastery or skill based. Okay, so my fifth tip is to join a co-op, or if your schedule doesn't allow it with your work, to join utilize a program, an online program like Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool or Ambleside Online, which is Charlotte Mason based, and they're both free programs that give you kind of a skeleton of what you can do for each subject. Now, again, so I haven't completely shared our homeschool journey, but this is the second part of a way that we started with our homeschooling. So we first started with cyberschooling, and then we moved into a free program that gave us kind of a skeleton and an idea of how we could break down each subject and certain things that we can do for each subject. Now, as time goes along, the good thing about using these things, if you're a new homeschooler, is that they give you ideas on things, concepts that you want to tweak. For us, Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool relied too much on video-based learning for math, and that wasn't ideal for us. So we moved on to a different program, but that gave us a way to segue very neatly and seamlessly, and just lighten the load and the pressure on me and making sure that I did it right in terms of transitioning them into homeschool. Another thing that you want to take into consideration if you do use a co-op or a homeschool program is to be mindful of, and this is something you should do whether you're going to work in homeschool or not, but you want to be mindful of their state requirements. So for us, Texas state requirements are pretty flexible. So they don't put a lot of weight on us as parents in terms of them telling us how we should homeschool our kids. They give us a lot more power in terms of how we should, what we deem as important for our children to learn. However, math, writing, those core subjects need to be taught, and also citizenship. That's for Texas. Now, if you're in a different state that has more rigorous or more strict state laws in terms of what you should teach, some states tell you exactly how long you have to be actively teaching every day, then you want to make sure that your co-op or program, because it's not always based, if you're using a homeschool program, not so much if you're doing a co-op. If you're doing a co-op in your state, then most likely it will follow the state requirements. I'm pretty sure it will follow the state requirement. But if you're using one that is, if you're using an online program, then you want to make sure that it follows those state programs. So for us, Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool, it's based in Pennsylvania. Their state requirements are stricter than Texas, as I mentioned. So I already knew that it would cover those. It would cover that, and I wouldn't have anything to worry about. But if it was the other way around and I was using a Texas online program, then I would have to be mindful of making sure that the things that they assign in that online program still matched the state's guidelines. And maybe I can make a video to explain that more, but that is my fifth tip. Okay, now my sixth tip, it kind of goes along with my fifth tip, which is to find resources that correspond with the skeletons of your homeschool plan. So if you choose to use a co-op or to use a free online program or even a paid one, then you have a guideline of things that you can use to flesh out the learning in your home and to bring it to life, and also to add some cohesiveness to your family, especially if you have kids that are in different levels and stages of learning. So for us, like I said, we use Classical Conversations. So for whatever facts that we're learning for history, science, math, whatever the case may be, we would go and grab a whole bunch of library books, or I would order books from thrift books or Mardell's, wherever I was, shopping, and I knew which topic I was looking for. So say we're studying World War II, whenever I'm in the store and I see books about World War II, I will grab them. For instance, for us in classical conversations, they use what's called, they use 3 cycles of period of time for history and science. And so next year we'll be studying American history. So not just World War II, but if I see books on anything that is in regards to American history, if we see a book on Booker T. Washington, Martin Luther King, or Christopher Columbus, or whoever else, we grab those books and we can have those discussions at home. Or if I see resources online, worksheets, videos, documentaries are amazing. We love to use documentaries. And what I'll do is I usually go on, even on YouTube, and I will find videos that are appropriate. Obviously, you want to screen these things. And find maybe even shows that flesh out what you're learning. My kids, for instance, also love Liberty Kids. So Liberty Kids, the Magic Schoolhouse, I think Magic School Bus. These shows, we can easily use those, your favorite kids' favorite shows, and align them, kind of schedule them out in your homeschool day so that they're talking about whatever you guys are learning about in your homeschool. And again, it brings that cohesiveness, and it also brings that added layer of discussion that you can have in your home. My 8th and final tip is to outsource. Now, if you haven't gotten the gist of most of my tips at this point, I think the main thing that you want to understand or know is that you, as a working homeschool mom, have little time to spare and waste. And as any kind of mom, all of us moms, we work hard, and we, I've been a stay-at-home mom. I know it's still a lot. At the end of the day, momming is hard, right? So outsourcing takes a load off of us. And if you haven't noticed with all of my tips, it's about taking some of that pressure off of you so that you do not feel overburdened with all of the responsibilities that you have, and you can balance the ones that you do well, and you are prioritizing the ones that you feel are important, and paying more attention to how you do those things and how you do, and making sure that you do them well, that you care for your family well. Like I said, making meals, I try not to do processed foods, and it really is a great bonding time for us when we make meals together. So I try to do that as often as I am. Sometimes I am too tired to do that. So whether that's a cleaning service, lawn care, laundry services, or hiring a maid, or hiring an assistant to help you for work, outsourcing can help you if you have that discretionary income to use to, take a load off of you. For a long time, I avoided doing this, having a maid service, because I felt like, I'm the mom and the wife, and I should just be doing everything myself. And I'm not, being a real, I'm not getting it done. I'm not strong if I'm not doing it all myself. And that is just so far from the truth. That is a lie. And I'm just hoping, and I'm here to encourage you, to tell you that you should not tell yourself that lie. It is not true. None of us are superheroes. We are not super mom. We are human. Okay, we are a mom. Be a mom and do the things that you do well. It is okay to take that load off of yourself. One thing I have done that I will not go back from, and I love, it has changed the game for me, is grocery delivery. Since the pandemic and almost everything allowing grocery delivery and pickup, I utilize that bad boy every week. So Walmart, Costco, whatever it is, it helps with meal prepping. I know exactly which meals I'm going to make and whether we have it in the house, because oh, okay, do we not have any more ketchup? Let me go check. Do we have any more bread? I can go send the boys to go check and see if we have it. It's not a guessing game while I'm in the store. And if you're like me and you have a hard time with impulse shopping, hello, anybody? Then grocery delivery or pickup really helps so that you can save money as well. So not only is it saving you time as a working homeschooling mom, but it's also saving you money because you're not spending hours in the grocery store. And, if you're also trying to save money and work less, then maybe you were like me and you were also couponing and trying to cut dollars. And there's nothing wrong with that. I saved my family a lot of money. But again, these things cost a lot of our time. And when you're a working and homeschooling mom, time is money. And so you can use your coupons with grocery pickup or delivery too. So again, outsource whatever type of services are the biggest headache to you that you can afford to outsource. Do it. It's going to help you so much, and it's going to make working and homeschooling a lot more feasible for you and possible. And even if you're not working in homeschooling, a lot of these tips are beneficial and useful for any kind of homeschooling mom, any kind of mom, period, who wants to save their stress and save themselves from some headache. And it will be very beneficial for you. So I hope you enjoy these tips. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this was beneficial for you and you gained some new knowledge and some new tips, please like, subscribe, and comment below any questions that you may have about homeschooling and working, or just homeschooling in general. That will be the main gist of my channel. I will be sharing more of my knowledge and wisdom that I've gained over the years of homeschooling. In my next upcoming video, I'm going to be videoing my high schooler and my middle schooler and putting them to the test to see, are they one of those weird, unsocialized homeschool kids? But no, really, so, just asking them questions and hopefully letting you guys get to know a little bit more about our family. And that I think will be very exciting, and you guys, you can't miss that. So make sure that you're subscribed and you have your bell on and you get those notifications to see when I post those videos. Thank you for watching again.